Has it ever been difficult for you to get down to business? Do you tend to put your decisions off until later? Maybe you also know the price that has to be paid for behaving this way, like lost income due to missed deadlines or spoiled relationships because of constant lateness. Then, even if you meet your deadlines and keep your promises, you feel overwhelmed and oppressed by your tasks. All these things are instances of procrastination, and this course is dedicated to methods for fighting it. We hope the course will help you not only to become more efficient and realize your potential, but also to learn to enjoy life without the feeling of guilt. Are you ready? Then let's get started. The word procrastination comes from Latin roots, which basically translate as until tomorrow. The cognitive behavioral approach to psychotherapy will help you deal with the tendency to put things off until later. This approach implies being attentive to emotions and thoughts that directly influence behavior. That means that in this course you will learn to better understand your thoughts and emotions, as well as to achieve your goals without procrastinating. It's important to distinguish procrastination from laziness. When someone is lazy, they consciously decide not to do things and don't worry themselves about it. In this case, the person gets pleasure from being idle and just relaxes. But procrastination is a whole other thing. It's not about relaxing. The procrastinator does not relax but suffers because they haven't done what they had planned. Procrastination is linked to stress, tension, and struggle. The feeling of guilt only intensifies the discomfort. Sure, the person put aside their planned tasks voluntarily, but procrastination is irrational, as it leads to problems in life and painful experiences. Procrastination can also be recognized by some characteristic signs. The first and main sign of procrastination is the constant use of expressions like I oughta, I have to, I should, and so on. The second sign is difficulty in making choices and decisions. The third sign of procrastination is having problems with the sense of time. When you don't notice that you're wasting time, or when you are often late for meetings and can't count right how much time it will take you to get somewhere, taking traffic into account. The fourth sign is linked to difficulty understanding your own wishes and values, even though you know firmly what you should want. The fifth sign is that the person is easily distracted from their purpose by unrelated activities. The sixth sign of procrastination manifests in low self-esteem and lack of confidence. Also, fear of criticism and difficulty completing projects because of the desire to hone them to perfection. We will become more closely acquainted with all of these signs throughout the course. All types of procrastination are hypothetically split into two large groups: postponement of tasks and postponement of decisions. It's possible to put off regular or one-off tasks, important and unimportant ones. You might put off making both vitally important decisions and insignificant ones. So why do people put off important tasks and decisions? The main reason for procrastination is perfectionism, also known as the A+ student syndrome. Perfectionism is the irrational belief that an ideal can and must be achieved. In fact, an ideal is a beacon or landmark. It's impossible to actually reach it. An extreme degree of perfectionism is the belief that an imperfect result has no right to exist. A perfectionist's self-esteem depends too heavily on requirements and standards that they themselves have invented. Life, according to the ideal or nothing principle, leads to burnout and stress, which procrastination relieves. The result is a vicious cycle. Perfectionism always lies at the heart of procrastination. We will cover this topic in more detail when we look into the core beliefs and rules that people unconsciously obey. So, perfectionism is at the heart of procrastination. What reasons might float on the surface then? The first reason is low self-esteem and lack of confidence. Am I going to be able to do this? Will other people like the result? Is there even a point in spending time, energy, money, and other resources on this task? Will the price of implementing the plan match the result that I will obtain? These are the questions a procrastinator asks, and their answers are usually really pessimistic. Another reason for procrastination is fear of success, which gives rise to self-limitation. This self-limitation may be linked to two attitudes. Attitudes are unconscious rules of behavior that form in early childhood. The first attitude assumes that it's dangerous to deviate from the crowd. They think that initiative is always punishable. When a person attracts attention, their mistakes and shortcomings might become visible. The second attitude implies that success leads to increased demands. For example, if an artist has managed to paint a good picture, it is assumed that they must live up to this level in the future. They can't do anything worse. The next reason is linked to the response to external requirements. For example, the requirements of management, friends, and family. This is the spirit of resistance. It is as if the person resists pressure and uses procrastination as a way to avoid it. We are often irritated by the roles and obligations imposed on us. For that reason, we put things off in order to demonstrate our ability to act in accordance with our own decisions. A person might have many irrational beliefs that lead to procrastination. For example, the idea that activity should only bring pleasure. But sometimes people procrastinate simply because they can't evaluate the task properly. Some tend to overestimate how difficult or boring the task is. Others underestimate the usefulness of the result. There are people who can be overly optimistic and estimate that the job will only take a few minutes and so postpone it until the very end. A lack of skills for problem solving and planning, as well as an incomplete idea of your goals and values, may also be behind procrastination. So, among the apparent reasons for procrastination are lack of confidence and low self-esteem, fear of success, resistance against external requirements, irrational beliefs, and a lack of certain skills and knowledge. At the same time, at procrastination's core is usually perfectionism, which, as you will find out in the following sessions, there is also usually something else hiding behind. But we'll talk about everything in more detail a little bit later. For now, let's think about how procrastinators get distracted from their plans. For example, they might replace important tasks with ones that give them more pleasure. Let's say watching TV shows, playing computer games, reading news, or listening to music. Or instead of an important project, they might do less urgent things like checking emails, tidying up their desk, and so on. Simple pleasures can also become a replacement, such as sleeping, eating, smoking, or drinking alcohol. And some people simply look out of the window and dream about the end of their workday or a better life. How much do you procrastinate? And how do you try to overcome it? There are different ways to deal with procrastination. In this course, we will look at them one by one. This course consists of 6 sessions. To begin with, we'll deal with the main issues of time management and ways to plan. Then, we'll work with thoughts that cause procrastination. After this, we'll analyze how rules for living and inner beliefs influence our tendency to put tasks and decisions off until later. Next, we'll learn how to transform rules and beliefs so as to become more productive. To finish off, we'll master some behavioral techniques that will help you cope more easily with both small tasks and big projects. Each session is supplemented by one or more exercises. These need to be completed so that you are prepared to move on to the next session. It's completely normal if you feel some doubt before starting the course, but in order to set off on the path of changing things for the better, put in a little effort, and it will soon get easier. To begin with, we suggest you analyze the individual features of your procrastination. In order to get a clearer idea of under which circumstances and how you shy away from earlier planned tasks, do the exercise for this session. Good luck, and we will see you next time.